so I'm kicking things off by prepping the eye area for the shadows that are to come, and to do that I'm using the Catrice Prime and Fine eyeshadow base, and I'm just using my finger to melt the product into the skin. Today I'm showing you how you can use a blending brush in various different ways to create a smoky eye. It's a handy video, let's say, if you're a beginner and you don't have a lot of brushes, or if you're travelling and you need to pack light. So I'm using the Soph Revolution palette again today because I know you all enjoy this palette. Super affordable, really good quality. And the first shadow now that I'm taking is the one here called Cup of Tea. And I'm starting by working the shadow into the outer corner of the eye, and I'm mainly using the tip of the brush to do this. I picked up a little shadow on the very tip of the bristles, and now I'm buffing the shadow across into the crease. And I'm just doing this a couple of times, layering it up to build up that intensity. I'm using the side of the brush now like a shader brush just to pat that same shadow down onto the lid area, and then I'm buffing my brush around the eye area just to make sure the shadow is nice and evenly distributed and to make sure those edges are diffused. Like I've done before, I'm using a small elastic hair bobble to adapt my brush. I'm taking a bobble between my index finger and thumb and putting it onto the brush. Once it's on the ferrule, steady the elastic with your thumb so it doesn't pop off, and with the other hand you want to twist the elastic and use your index finger and thumb again to loop the bobble around the brush head. Once I've done it a couple of times, then I'm going to slide it up the ferrule and onto the bristles, and the further you move the bobble up, the more taper the brush hairs will be, and now we have a ready-made taper blending brush just for a more precise eyeshadow application. I've picked up a bit more now of Cup of Tea and I'm sweeping it down along the lower lash line, and with the brush in this way it just allows me to get nice and close to those lashes. Once I have the product along there, I'm taking off the bobble and using the fluffiness of the brush to really blow out the edges, and I'm just running around the look as a whole at the moment to make sure the edges are nice and blown out. Next, I'm taking the eyeshadow called Mug Cake, which is a nice matte warm brown eyeshadow, and I picked this up on the tip of my brush and I'm applying it to the eyelid. Now, I'm applying it in this way to show you the difference in application, so with the tip of the brush and sweeping motions, you're going to get a lighter application. That works well if you're a little intimidated by darker colours. Working with a little bit at a time makes the blending process much easier to do. It does take a bit longer, but if you do struggle with applying and blending darker colours, it's worth it. Now I'm using the side of the brush and patting motions to apply that same brown eyeshadow to the lid, and as you can see we're getting a much better colour payoff, and the coverage that we're getting with the shadow is more even from the get-go. Either way is fine to do it, it's all personal preference. One way is just a little quicker than the other. So I'm popping that bobble back on now and doing the same as before, sweeping that brown eyeshadow down along the lower lash line, and I'm rocking that colour back and forward and really focusing on smoking it out. So I've taken the bobble back off now and I'm just wriggling my brush back and forward and further diffusing those edges. So I've just picked up a little black on the tip of the brush and I'm sweeping it right at the lash line. I'm popping the bobble back on now, and like before I'm sweeping some of that eyeshadow in at the lash line. I'm not applying a lot of black because this is a brown smoky eye. I want the focus to be on the brown, but the black just adds a nice little bit of depth. So I'm pressing that black now into the lash line with the bobble, and applying it in this manner will just add a little more black. It'll appear a little more intense if you like it that way. And once I've got it on there, I'm using the fluffy blending brush to smoke along that area to make sure everything is soft. Now I've just cleaned off my brush on a tissue, literally just swirled it on a tissue to get the excess product off, and I'm mixing the white with a little of the golden shade just below the arrow, and I'm tapping it now around the tear duct of the eye to add a little bit of sparkle. For the waterline then, I'm using the Intense Look eye pencil from Note, and I'm running this on the upper waterline as well as the lower, and to line the upper waterline, I literally close my eye around the pencil and run it back and forward. I'm applying some natural lashes now from Kiss. These are in the style Peony, Peony Rose, Peony. And once I've firmly got those stuck in place, I'm using the No Cosmetics Volume Match Mascara, and then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it helpful, and I'll chat to you soon.